What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be taking an early look at Studio Series number 71 Autobot DINO. And oh my goodness, this figure is just one of my most anticipated figures to be released and to buy in the store or anywhere. And I've been really wanting this figure for a long time. Ever since I heard it was released, I just knew I had to get this figure. So just one things I need to tell you about is that this video I'm gonna be looking over DINO, show you all the features he has, his accessories and whatnot, and then after that we're gonna do some Dark of the Moon size comparisons and some car comparisons, and finally we're gonna take a look at the box and then transform DINO. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of DINO's features. Starting off with this piece, the front of DINO, we can see that the head sculpt of DINO is amazing. It is connected to a ball joint, which actually allows him to manipulate his head all the way 360 degrees. But I'm sure that these parts on the top are somewhat obstructing it. The arms look amazing. These blades, I think they look very accurate to the movie, as they can pose in multiple ways. So just for a quick review of the blades, here we have the sharp edge right here and the more dull edge, and they do have like a circular little tab right here and a regular little tab right there for to tab into a spot. I'm not so sure where it's supposed to tab in though. Right here, it is the exact same thing as this one, as one side is smooth and one side does have the tab. So just to insert DINO's blades, I recommend that the side that doesn't really have the tab and the side that does have the tab, make sure that the side that doesn't have the tab is connected to the arm on the top like that, and then do the same process to the other side. Just put the blades back in, and personally I think that look just looks amazing of how DINO looks like. For a full 360 spin, let's just check out some of DINO's features. One thing that I do not like about this DINO figure is that he's a bit of a shell former and not like a regular transformer. Like, he does have like his whole backpack area, which is kind of like disappointing, but I believe that's the best Hasbro could have done with this figure, but I was expecting a little bit better. The wheels look amazing, like the Ferrari wheels in the film, in the movie, how he does transform into a Ferrari, but unfortunately Hasbro could not get the license for DINO and could not put the Ferrari logo on him. And now just one more thing before we keep checking on the features is that someone commented on the B127 video and asked if what's it called, if the new wave of Transformers did arrive in the store. So if this person does see my video, yes, it has arrived in the stores, but it also depends what stores you go to and which Target you're at. So where I found this figure at Target, so I recommend getting him at Target. I'm not so sure if Walmart has it though, so I'm just making a guess that Target has it more, as I did buy 70, 71, and 72 at Target on the same day. But if you are looking forward to this figure, I reckon that Targets are in stock. If someone knows that if they're in Walmart or somewhere, please tell me in the comment section down below so that I can know if there's ones in Walmart or if there's ones in just Target right now. Because Target's release date was in May, and other online retailers like Casual Pulse had it until June. So I just wanted to clarify that point to whoever commented, and just to tell you that yes, the new wave 12, I believe, is in stores. So I just recommend going to a Target to get this figure and not a Walmart, because I'm not so sure if Walmart has them. Okay, so now time to look at some of the articulation. Now the legs are connected to a ball joint as well, that they can bend like that. Like, looks like he's gonna play soccer. They can't even bend in a way that like he's kneeling down like this, like he was in the film where he does go near a soldier or something, or something in the film where he's like, stay down or something like that. And then you could pose the arms in many articulated ways, as I do know many collectors will have this figure mostly like this, and I believe that the presence of this figure will certainly lighten up your Transformer collection. I would personally keep him in his robot form more than the car form, as the car form is a bit disappointing of how it looks like. Also, one other position I do know people will put their DINO figure on the shelf is his arms crisscrossed, as in the film he does show up with his arms crisscrossed in one scene like that, and with the blades popping out like this. So just without further ado, you could just have them like this, and then the blades are popping out. So, and personally, I think that the figure looks amazing like this. You could adjust the wings on the back, the door pieces to your sole desire. You could place them a little bit up, you could place them a little bit down, and then you can put them left and right. But you could adjust that to however you want, your DINO figure to look like. So personally, I would keep DINO more like this. Also, one other thing worth noting is that this chest piece right here, as it does look like the headlights of the car, I believe, is not actually the front part of the car. Will be right here. So I'll show you later on in the review how to transform DINO. I do think that the legs are pretty amazing and everything. They can just go up and down. I really do like that Hasbro did put this feature with the toes and everything. But I would have preferred a feature where his whole foot would bend somewhat like that and like that, like other Transformer figures do have, like such as Bumblebee and I believe Starscream, the Bumblebee movie Starscream, and I think some other figures do have that feature, like Optimus Prime. But without further ado, let's take a look at DINO's size and to other Transformers Studio Series figures, and let's do a size comparison of each. So now, for a quick Dark of the Moon size comparison, here we have DINO being compared to Studio Series Leadfoot, Bumblebee, Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee, as Dark of the Moon Bumblebee has not been released, but I'm pretty sure that the mold of this Bumblebee will be similar to, the mold of Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee will be the same as Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, and we're comparing Sentinel Prime and Optimus Prime. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some of the size comparisons. First, let's start off with Bumblebee. Now, you can see that Bumblebee and DINO are more or less nearly the same size as each other, as the doors do touch each other, as I think that DINO is only barely, maybe a millimeter taller than Bumblebee. Now, comparing DINO with Leadfoot, we can see that DINO's wings over what's it called? They make Leadfoot look smaller. They dwarf Leadfoot's size and everything. As the head, I believe they're at the same position. I believe, but I still do feel like Leadfoot is a tiny bit bigger. Now for another size comparison, here we have DINO being compared to Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime. And I believe that this scales nicely to the whole Dark of the Moon universe in Transformers Dark of the Moon, where I'm not so sure in any scenes DINO stood near Sentinel Prime or Optimus Prime, but we can clearly see that DINO actually is not half the size, but we can see that Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime do dwarf over DINO and make his size a bit smaller. So now, without further ado, let's do another size comparison, but this time with the Wreckers. Now taking a look at DINO's size to the size of the Wreckers, we can see that DINO is roughly about the same size as Wreckers. We can see that he is a tiny bit taller than Topspin. I believe Topspin is about the same size as, I believe Roadbuster is about nearly the same size as DINO. For just a quick size comparison, let's bring over Roadbuster and DINO. We can see DINO is a tiny bit taller, but the wings also do help his tallness. So now let's compare him with Topspin. As we did compare him to Roadbuster, we can see that DINO is taller than Topspin, and I believe Topspin is one of the smallest Wreckers, I believe. And one more size comparison, I think we did this before. DINO with Leadfoot, we can see that they're roughly about the same size. But that was a size comparison between DINO and the Wreckers. The reason I did a size comparison of DINO and the Wreckers is that putting them all together, it just looks like the movie is complete, like a Dark of the Moon movie is complete. We can see the records with Dino, and it just makes me think of my childhood when the Dark of the Moon movie did come out in like 2011. When I did see it, well, like I didn't see it in that exact year. I saw it when I was like a little bit older. But honestly, I think that this looks amazing. The scale comparison between Dino and the records, I think that this looks amazing. Now let's compare Dino with one more Transformer, and then after that we will compare him with some Decepticons. So here we have Dino being compared to Dark of the Moon Sideswipe, and oh my goodness, I believe that this looks amazing of how Dino looks with Sideswipe. And if you want to create a stop motion where Dino, Sideswipe, and Bumblebee were trying to protect Sentinel Prime from the Dreads, be my guest. I believe that now you can do it, but I am seriously just gonna wait for Studio Series Hatch to be released, and then you could create a whole stop motion right there. Other than that, I think that the scale looks nice as these figures. This has been my first Transformer figure, Studio Series figure I ever got, and Dino being one of my latest. I think that the size comparison between both of them look amazing. Now for another tiny size comparison, I believe we have already compared 74 Bumblebee, but just for another quick size comparison, here we have Bumblebee, Dino, and Sideswipe, and I believe this whole look just looks amazing. I think that like all the scale Hasbro has done for these three figures just absolutely looks amazing and makes every other figure just look lame. So now, without further ado, let's do one more size comparison, and then we'll move on to checking out how the box does look like. So here we have Dino being compared to Dark of the Moon Sideswipe and Studio Series Dark of the Moon Crankcase. Now, I believe that this scales nicely to the movie well, I think you can make a stop motion with Soundwave and Dino, where Soundwave was holding, I believe, Dino down or something like that, or the Decepticons were holding them down in the execution scene where they do kill, unfortunately, they do kill Q, which is actually Wheeljack. I believe you can make another stop motion where he does fight the Dreads in the Dark of the Moon scene, where they're trying to defend Sentinel Prime and everything. But one thing I did have a problem about is that, I don't know if I said this in my original review about Crankcase, is that this is the exact mold of Studio Series number 3 Crowbar. It is the exact same mold. I wouldn't mind the mold, the body. One thing that does bug me is that the hairs are long, and it does not come with the right head, Studio Series Crankcase. Now that's just one thing that did bug me about this figure. Now moving on to Studio Series number 21, Voyager class Starscream. Now the big reason I am comparing a Revenge of the Fallen figure is because Starscream, his Revenge of the Fallen mode is actually the same as his Dark of the Moon mode. Like he does look exactly the same. So I'm just comparing. If this figure was a Dark of the Moon character, I'm just comparing of how he does look like. So I think that this just scales nicely. But I still think that Starscream is a tiny bit too big. I don't know. But other than that, I think that this was just a good size comparison. Now for one final size comparison, here we have Studio Series 34 Leader Class Megatron, and I believe this scales okay. But like I said in my original Megatron review, is that Megatron is not that accurate to the film. If we do see, I did put Megatron's like holding his gun ready to attack and everything, as he does in the film, and personally I think that this looks okay. But like I said in my original Megatron review, is that Megatron does not, his size is completely inaccurate and totally makes Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime look very, very small. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of Dino's box art. So here we have Dino's box art, and I believe that the box art just looks amazing. He just come in this box and everything. We can see a nice CGI picture of Dino with even some mispaint applications, like he got scratched or something during battle or something, which I actually do like that. It looks pretty amazing. The other side of the packaging is just the same face as Dino right here. I believe this is more of a modern CGI model than another CGI model, because I never saw the CGI model of Dino. Maybe I did, but they use the same CGI model on all of Dino's box. Here we have number 71. Here's how it looks like. Here's how the box looks like. Certainly, I think that looks amazing. Now the back of the box, which is mostly all of the details. Here we have some product shots of Dino and his Dino with his car form and his robot form. His iconic movie scene is a high-speed chase where as the Dreads pursue the Autobots to an attempt to capture Sentinel Prime, Autobot Dino latches on his blades onto Hatchet and steers him into oncoming traffic. So if you do remember in the film, Dino does slash his blades on Hatchet and then like rolls him on a car in the film. But I just cannot wait for Hatchet. I can't wait if Hasbro is gonna do a lazy job on Hatchet, or if Hasbro is gonna do a good job on making the mold of Hatchet. Now the backdrop we do get for Dino is the same backdrop we do get for Studio Series number 3 Crowbar, as they do share the same iconic movie scene in the scene where the Dreads fight. And then the final side of the box is a nice dark background with the CGI model of Dino. We see him posing for battle and everything, and we could see the Autobot logo right there. And then the top of the box right here is just saying Transformers Dark of the Moon, the movie he's from. The back of the box does tell you the figure and the accessories he contains. So personally, what I think is that this Dino figure just looks amazing of like everything, all the features Dino has, the hands and everything. And one thing I do need to go over is his fingers look amazing. The Hasbro did an amazing job with this figure. One of the best jobs I did see, as the car form is, but other than that, the car form is just a tiny bit weird, but other than that, it is just an amazing figure. Dino, I do recommend getting it. You can find him in the stores and everything. You can find B-127 Bumblebee, and you can find Bumblebee movie Starscream in the stores. If you are still lucky, you can still find number 86, the new 86 Transformers, if you have not even purchased them, as I am now gonna collect more of 86 Transformers. And also, it was leaked about I believe yesterday or the day before that there is gonna be a new Transformers Slag, the Dinobot. He does turn into a Triceratops in the 86 movie film, so I cannot wait for that figure. Also, I believe in one of my videos that the Transformers that have not been released Part 3, the Studio Series figures that haven't been released Part 3, I do put, instead of Slag, Slug. So that's just one mistake. I will fix it in Part 4 that is coming out soon, that I'm gonna make. And then I believe that'll be the final of one of the Transformers haven't been released videos. But other than that, that's how I made my video. Now moving on back to Dino. Personally, I think this figure just looks amazing. So now, without further ado, let's get to the transformation process of Studio Series Autobot Dino. So now let's get to the transformation of Autobot Dino. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is just simply unpeg these parts, which are his hands right here. Simply unattach them from his arms, and you do notice you are left with two. Just put them to the side for now. Now, the first step you're gonna have to do is just on the wings, simply just unfold them out like this. Do the same process this side. Make sure that they click with each other and everything. Make sure this piece untabs right here. Make sure it does unfold like that. Then after this chest plate that's holding Dino's head, we'll just put it down. His feet right here, just fold them up like that. And after that, as there is a serious issue with Dino that he can break, his body can break in half. That there is a problem that the screws around are you have to be gentle around this area, not yank it out, because it can break, as the screws can break inside, and so can the plastic right there. So I do recommend taking your time and being very gentle with this figure, this part of the transformation. So just just be very gentle with the transformation, as it is nearly hard. And you did notice the piece did detach, but if this piece does detach, no worries, you can just plop it back inside right there. Okay, so now after that, you're gonna have to. One thing that I did find annoying is that this piece does keep untabbing out. So the transformation is fun, but sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate, the toy. So just simply just have it like this. After that, just make sure that the front piece of the car is complete. Just make sure everything tabs in correctly. Though the wings, which are the doors, just keep them outward like that. And after this, fold up the arms, which the shoulders do have the front headlight parts. They do have the front headlight parts right there. So simply just have them pegged in right there. Just push them inside right there. And ooh, that's first. The wheel did come off, so just put it back in, and we could already see the near enough, almost Ferrari looking car form. So okay, so now moving on to the arms. The first thing you're gonna have to do is just have the arms somewhat facing like this. Make sure that the black side is facing like that. Make sure that this side is facing like this. This screw is facing toward you. Then flip his hand out like that. Do the same process to that side. Flip the hand out and the arm and everything. Flip out the shoulders and everything, the elbow, and then after that, connect his two palms to his hands together right there. And there, you got the front part complete. So now what I recommend doing is, now with these attachments, I recommend putting them right here below DINO's arms, I believe. Just put them below right there. Just put them right there. Just leave them right there for now, and then do the same process to the other blade. Just simply peg it in right there. Just put it inside right there and there. Okay, so now with that part complete, now let's move on to the legs. You're simply gonna have to detach these pieces right here on the thighs. Simply separate them from the rest of the leg. After that, make sure that this flips around all the way. Make sure that you do see the toes again if you're seeing DINO this way. Just make sure you see the toes and everything. After that, bring in the whole thigh and foot up, and then bring in this body part. Just make sure it does tab in right below the hands and everything. Just make sure, before you do that, make sure that his head, make sure you bring down the head like that. And then after that, make sure these parts do tab in below right here. Just make sure that they do just go and sit down right there. So then after that, you're just gonna get this piece right here, flip it over, and then somewhat connect the legs together right there. Just, as they did peg back in right there, just peg them right there so that they could be complete right there. After that, the doors, last step, I believe, they do have a circular little slot and a circular little hole. The doors have a little circular hole, and the wings have a circular spot. So what I do recommend is just simply, what you gotta do is just you just gotta peg it inside right there, as you did see right now. Just push it in, and then do the same side. As you can see that there is a tiny little circular slot and a tiny circular little peg right there. Simply peg it in right there, and make sure these pieces of plastic do peg in as well. And then you've nearly got DINO in his, well, almost what's it called, Ferrari looking mode. So his alternate mode, which looks a bit like a Ferrari, but actually Hasbro didn't do much of a good job on putting him in his Ferrari mode, as the logo is missing. So now we have DINO fully complete in his Ferrari mode. Now for a full 360 spin, just taking a look at DINO, honestly, I think that this figure just looks amazing. Of all the sculpting and everything for the car form. Although, if he did transform correctly like he did in the film, the hood part would be lower and these parts would be sit up a little bit higher. And other than that, everything is good and everything. The only thing that they did have to because Hasbro should have gotten that license to copy the Ferrari models and everything. They should have just put the Ferrari logo right here and everything, and just gotten the license, or just waited till this figure they could release this figure. But unfortunately, Hasbro didn't, and then they were just too excited and just made this figure anyways. I do like how this figure looks like, although I would have preferred if he did have a Ferrari logo. So I might maybe do a repaint of this figure, as it would look better if you do a repaint. And if you do know how to draw everything and all this stuff, I do recommend doing a repaint of this figure. like you repaint it so that it could look correctly. Yeah, I believe this figure actually does look pretty good. It is kind of hard to transform it though, but in the end it does look magnificent. The car form just like you immediately notice that this is actually DINO and everything. Honestly, I think that this figure looks amazing of how he looks like the paint applications, even the headlights, the wheels, and even the wheels do look a bit like Ferrari wheels. Although I believe they could not have added the logo because of copyright issues and stuff like that. But other than that, I think that this version of DINO just looks amazing. So now, without further ado, let's do one last size comparison of DINO with the other Dark of the Moon Autobots in their car form. So now all the Autobots are together in their Sentinel Prime is just a traitor, but I think that this looks amazing of how DINO's car form does scale correctly with other Autobots such as Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Leadfoot, Roadbuster, Topspin, Optimus Prime, and Sentinel Prime. So just for some quick size comparisons, let's compare DINO with Bumblebee. We can see that they're nearly roughly about the same size, as I believe DINO is a bit wider than Bumblebee, the car form. DINO with Leadfoot is actually more armed up and everything. He does have like all the weapons and everything. And I believe Leadfoot is actually a bit fatter than DINO. Now taking a look at DINO and Sideswipe, I think that this actually scales very nicely, as this actually being the first DINO toy being made by Hasbro. I believe that this is just the best way they could do it currently right now. And DINO with Roadbuster, we can see that the size is nice. They do match how they do look like in the film. DINO and Topspin, they do look amazing. Like, if you could create a stop motion with the Autobots driving in the city and stuff, I recommend doing a stop motion somewhat like this, where it does look like they are coming and everything to fight back against the Decepticons like they did in the film. And for one final size comparison, Optimus Prime toward DINO, we can clearly see that DINO is super small toward Optimus Prime, and toward Sentinel Prime, we can see DINO is about like nearly half the size of Sentinel Prime. So that was a comparison of the Autobots, and one fun thing you can do if you did transform them all correctly and the wheels are all running and everything, I recommend just send them flying out like that so that it looks like they're all ready to go to battle and everything, as he did do in the film. So that is one thing I did do that is actually pretty fun and everything. Honestly, I think that this figure just looks amazing, and mostly in his robot form. I would personally leave him in his robot form more than the car form, as the car form it does not look as accurate as the film. So now, without further ado, let's get to the untransformation process. So you're just simply gonna unpeg the wings right here. Do that right here. These pieces, just unpeg them as well. Make sure that the legs do come out like that. Make sure that the head does slide down like this. The legs and the thighs do come out like this. And his thighs, you're just gonna have to squish them together like that, how they were before. His legs, just flip them around. Make sure that you unflip the toes. Do the same process to the other side. Unflip the toes and everything. And then after that, here's the complex part. Just simply unpeg these parts. Just take them out like that. Then after these, after that, take out the arms right here. And honestly, I think this is the best DINO figure we can get currently right now. Honestly, but I'm pretty sure there's another DINO figure that's out there that is a bit more accurate than what we saw here. Other than that, I believe this DINO figure just went up. I bet Hasbro went above and beyond with this DINO figure. As I know, this figure will. This is my prediction that many people are just gonna just like go crazy for this figure. That it's just gonna stop appearing in the stores, just like Ironhide and many other Transformers did, other studio series. And then now the only place you can find that at is at eBay at a very expensive price, but that's my prediction of what could happen. What's it called? What could happen with this figure? Because this figure is really one of the most anticipated figures Hasbro can create. So yeah, honestly, I was really looking forward to this figure, and this figure is actually one of my favorite figures that I currently have so far in my collection. One of my favorite figures. And I will also be doing a Wave 10 ranking video of all the Transformers released in Wave 12. I did do a Wave 10 ranking video if you did see it. I did rank my most favorite to my least favorite, and then I'm going to be doing the same thing with Wave 12 and Wave 11 coming soon. So now with this, just simply unfold the arms like that. Make sure that these parts do bend and everything, and then there. Now you have DINO in his robot form, and personally, I think that this looks amazing of how DINO looks like now. Just simply attach the arm accessories to you could put them to your sole desire. Personally, I just keep the sharp point headed that way because it does look more movie accurate like that. But if you want to keep it the other way, like he's gonna stab a Decepticon, be my guest, and that would look amazing as well. So now our review is almost concluded. Just pegging these pieces right here. Now some final thoughts about this figure is that this figure is actually one of the best figures of DINO, and the only figure by Hasbro, I believe, has been DINO figure made by Hasbro. I believe this figure actually went above and beyond and is almost nearly accurate. Honestly, I would have preferred if he did if he did have the rope accessories. That is one thing I would have loved for this figure to have, is the rope accessories that he did use in the film. When he latches his blades onto Hachi, he's obviously holding on to the ropes and everything. That's one thing I would have preferred if he did have. But other than that, a great figure. And personally, I think that this figure is just one of the best figures Hasbro could make on the Studio Series line. So without further ado, that concludes our video. Tell me in the comment section down below if you did like my review about DINO, as it is a bit hard to transform DINO into his car form, but it is simple in his robot form. Just be careful around that back part. I was demonstrating earlier that it can break and everything. So without further ado, that concludes my video. And then just one thing, you can find this DINO figure at Target. I'm not so sure about Walmart, but you can find him at Target, as I did get him on a Wednesday, and then the next day, on Thursday, a bunch of toy hunts started buzzing in like crazy. So I think I was one of maybe the first people who ever got DINO, maybe, but I know that there's probably maybe more people who got him before I did. So that concludes our review. Our next review may be about Studio Series number 72, Starscream. So that concludes our DINO review. I hope you like this review. Tell me in the comment section down below about this review. And now, until then, I will see you at our next Transformers Studio Series review. Until then, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.